Hi, welcome. My name is Veru. I am an fashion illustrator with a passion for fashion. And today I would love to share with you five of my favorite books related to fashion illustration. They are not all strictly about fashion illustration, but I find them extremely helpful for inspiration, creativity, and understanding different styles and techniques. So let's start. The first book I want to share is this huge yellow one about fashion illustration with colored markers by Nancy Riegman. She is very well known fashion illustrator and educator, and she taught fashion illustration for more than 40 years. So this book is really a reliable source if you want to learn proper techniques. Even though it's focused on markers, you can apply these principles to any medium, watercolors, ink, digital, anything. It starts with the basic of how to sketch the body and it works almost like a step-by-step tutorial for simple forms, then adding layers, textures and details. There is even a whole section dedicated to textures, which I personally find extremely helpful. For me, this book is a never-ending source of inspiration. This book was actually recommended to me by Elena Ciuprina, who is fashion illustrator and whose work I truly admire. It was quite difficult for me to find this book, but I finally managed and I'm very happy I did. The second book is about scarves because scarves are also an important part of fashion and often they are like a small piece of art. That I love about scarves is that you are limited by square format, but inside that space you can create entire worlds. For example, Hermes has some absolutely incredible scarf designs. You can see how different ornaments, shapes, and colors are combined, sometimes in a very simple way and sometimes in a very complex storytelling way. For me, this book is great for learning composition and how to work with patterns and motifs inside a defined space. I love it. The third book is a fashion illustration 1930 and 1970. This book is one of my favorite books from our collection. It's amazing because you can observe how illustration changed over the decades. Different styles, different techniques, different visual languages. Every illustration focuses on something else. Sometimes it's line, sometimes color, sometimes movement or composition. For me, illustration is an amazing tool to understand how visual culture evolves over time, and this book shows that beautifully. Another book I really love is Masters of Fashion Illustration by David Doughton. He is very famous fashion illustrator and you can really feel that in the way the book is made. I love his style because it's very minimal and simple, but at the same time extremely expressive. He knows exactly where to place each stroke and nothing feels unnecessary. One of my favorite artists in this book is Francis Marshall. I love how he works with line and how elegant and effortless his drawings feel. And what surprised me a lot is that I learned from this book and that Andy Warhol also worked as a fashion illustrator. I knew his art, I even visited his exhibition in Prague, but I didn't know about this part of his career. His fashion illustrations are very playful, simple inks, lines with a bit of watercolor, and I really connect with that style, especially with colors like a pink, orange and red. I really like combination of pink and red. And the last book is actually my absolutely favorite. It's a very old book written in German and I can really read German, so I use AI to translate it. And honestly, it feels like a hidden treasure. This book feels like a one-to-one conversation with the artist. You can really sense the atmosphere of that time, the mindset, the way they thought about illustration and fashion. What I love the most is that you can see the whole process. Simple sketches turning into finished ink illustration. This is something I'm personally obsessed with, and for me, this book is probably the most valuable source of inspiration I own. So, these were my favorite 5 books recommendations. I hope you found them inspiring and maybe they will help you on your own creative journey as well. Thank you so much for watching and I wish you a beautiful creative day. So, see you next time. Bye.